Dear all, today we're going to discuss our exam with maxillary sinus venous drainage through. So you want to know the maxillary sinus will drainage into which part or which vein first. So we have four choices here. A, facial vein into maxillary vein to jugular vein. B, maxillary vein into facial vein and then jugular vein. Or C, maxillary vein into pterygoplexus into facial vein. The last one, which is the correct answer, pterygoplexus into maxillary vein into the facial vein. So we want to understand why we choose the last one. So we're going to discuss through this video why the maxillary sinus will drain into the pterygoplexus here. As we can see here in this picture, that this is the pterygoplexus that lie behind the maxillary sinus will be the first part to drain the maxillary sinus. Actually, the pterygoplexus also will drain the other part of the oral cavity, or you can say most of the part of the oral cavity will drain into the pterygoplexus. Pterygoplexus has emissary vein going to the cavernous sinus. So if we get this type of question that which part of the oral cavity will drain, the correct answer most of the time will be the pterygoplexus. So it will be a good clue in the exam that we can just say the pterygoplexus most of the time will get the correct answer. So if we move the pterygoplexus, we can know that pterygoplexus is what? It is a turbulate of corresponding with branches of the maxillary artery. It means that drain most of the part that the maxillary artery will supply. Of course, will be the oral cavity will be the main. And also they receive the following veins. You can see most of the veins that supply the oral cavity will be drained into the pterygoplexus: sphenopalatine, middle meningeal, deep temporal, pterygoid, mesenteric, buccinator, alveolar, palatine vein, in which two parts, the lesser and the greater, and the infraorbital vein. So you can see most of the vein will pour or drain into the pterygoplexus. So we want to know more about the maxillary vein. What is the maxillary vein? Actually, maxillary vein is a small vein, a small or short vein, that is the posterior continuation of the pterygoplexus. And then this vein will join the other vein, which is superficial temporal vein. They're going to form retromandibular vein, so it's important. So we can see now the route of the drainage from pterygoplexus going to maxillary vein. It's a short vein, directly will contact or will be joined the other part with superficial temporal to form the retromandibular vein. So you can see in this diagram, this is the pterygoplexus, and this is the short part is the maxillary vein that will join the superficial temporal. So we're going to, in this point, they will join together, and then they're going to form a new vein, which is the retromandibular. So this is the retromandibular. So we can see here the first step is the pterygoplexus, sorry, is the pterygoplexus here, and then they form the posterior continuation of pterygoplexus. What is the maxillary vein? And then they're going to join the superficial temporal, going from the temporal part, and then they join here to form a new vein, which is the retromandibular vein. So if you're going to the facial vein, which is incorrect, the first answer, if you choose the first answer is incorrect. Facial vein into maxillary vein to jugular cannot be, because the facial vein will not drain the maxillary sinus. So what's the facial vein? Facial veins continuation of the angular vein that's coming from the forehead, and then the angle of the eye they will call the angular vein, and then the medial angle of the eye they pass downward and diagonally in the outward, uniting with the retromandibular vein to form a common facial vein. So after that, they will drain into jugular vein. So also the facial vessels or venous vessels of the face will drain into the facial vein. Sometimes we call it anterior facial vein. So this is the facial vein that's come from the angular vein, and then they form the quad facial vein or anterior facial vein, and this is the vein. And then after that, they will join the retromandibular vein here. This is the joining at this point. So if you choose the maxillary vein, the second answer, maxillary vein into facial vein to jugular vein, of course, is incorrect, because the maxillary vein is not the first part that drains the maxillary sinus. The pterygoplexus is the first part they drain the maxillary sinus. After that, they will continue into the maxillary vein. As we see here, the maxillary vein is the second part. The first part is the pterygoplexus. If you choose the maxillary vein into the pterygoplexus into the facial vein, of course, cannot be, because the maxillary vein is before the pterygoplexus and not vice versa. So here we have a diagram, the summary. The maxillary sinus or venous blood vessels or maxillary sinus, will be drained into the pterygoplexus. After the pterygoplexus will drain into the maxillary vein. After that, the maxillary vein, they will join the superficial temporal to form a new vein, as we said before, retromandibular vein. And then the retromandibular vein, the anterior part, will join the facial vein. They form a common facial vein. Hope you'll get benefit from this slide or this small video, short video, to discuss with you how you can answer, how you can choose the proper answer in your exam. So wish you all the best in your coming exam or in your test. So we can follow us or subscribe in our channel on YouTube, and also you can download the dentist apps in the Android store or Google store. You can download it because there's more than 500 questions in basic and advanced. So you can download the apps in your gadget, and then you can play with it, and you can download or whatever you can purchase through this, and you can follow on Instagram and on Facebook. Till then, all the best.